Okay. So just adding to my network, I've been doing different things for geography locations and geotags and you can search places on your Instagram. That has been working so much for me. I know last time we went out and we went through some text replacements that I have on my phone. And I think that was super helpful for a lot of you guys, is just kind of catching and getting those text replacements and seeing what I was saying. But what I want to do is I really want us to go over I want you guys to unmute yourselves and talk about maybe some objections that people have given you and how we can overcome them together. So if you feel like you're always getting, I don't have the money, there's not enough time, maybe a text from somebody, if anybody is brave enough, for how we can overcome that objection. Does anybody have anything they just feel like, oh, I don't even know what to say, I'm just not going to respond to this person? Because we've all had that. Let's see who's brave.
I tend to get, hey Kelsey, I tend to get, I don't want to be a part of multi-level marketing or network marketing.
Okay, so just like the generic, they don't want to.
Right.
Okay, so have you asked them like why?
I've asked, and like when they talk about, first they're bringing the word pyramid scheme, and like I always send a message about the business we support. Macy's and all them companies are pyramid schemes and all that mess.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I do that, and what I say is the integrity of this company goes way back to 17 years back. It's not like something that came up yesterday and failed. We don't like
Mm-hmm.
like 17 years old. We are in 23 countries and we're expanding, so people trust this process. We have people who have been in this business over 80 years, and so they, people who have quit their corporate jobs and so forth. I give them all the good stuff.
Yes. So I have personally found, so I have like all those text replacements too that I always used to send. And one of the things that has been working for me lately that I do is normally I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so funny because I felt that exact way before I joined. And then when you do that, they're like, wait, what? Like, because what they expect is a long message of us getting defensive and telling us why it's not a compensation, like it's not a pyramid scheme, why it's not this and why it's not that. And so for me, that's something that always works because they're always caught off guard. And they're always like, wait, you did? You felt like I do right now and you still joined? Like, tell me more. I'm interested to see how that process went. And so I know from my experience that they're expecting you to like get defensive or have like 3 paragraphs of why it's not, but people are always going to have their opinions. But when you tell them that you used to feel that way before too, or maybe you would say, oh my gosh, that's crazy because I had my own concerns about it as well. Do you want to know what I found out?
Yeah, I do that too. Because when they say I'm shy, Lord knows I'm not shy, but when they say I'm shy, I'm scared, I say, trust me, that's exactly. Or they're nervous. To be honest, 80% of us who came in this business were like nervous as heck. But we, and I said, personally, I was nervous. I said days still happen. I still get nervous, but guess what? I know where I want to go. I know that I have goals to accomplish in life. And so I'm not going to let my fears get a hold of me, things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think just using that when it comes to the pyramid scheme stuff too, is just being like, yeah, I've been there before. Like, listen, I totally understand where you're coming from. Instead of like getting mad, that is something that for me, I've used it on that and I've had good success with it. So try that with the pyramid scheme one or, multi-level marketing or whatever. And the main thing is people just want to be heard. They just want to know you're listening. And so, sometimes having those text replacements can get us in trouble because we're not being super personal and we're not hearing what they have to say. We're replying to we're listening to reply instead of listening to actually hear that concern. Does that make sense? Like I do it all this time, not knowing in like a regular conversation. Cause if like me and my husband are going to have a discussion about something, like I'm just listening to reply to him instead of listening to actually like, okay, he feels that way. Let me hear how he feels and then respond to it instead of just being like, fork down his throat, right? And so it's just important that we all are listening to listen and hear them and what their concern is and being understanding of that. And the thing is, you guys, is there's always going to be people that at some point, if they keep just being negative and whatever, just move on. Like, we do not have time for that. Okay. But if it's somebody who's just like, well, I don't really want to do that. And like you say one thing back and you're like, you know, oh my gosh, I felt that way before. I didn't want to do it. Everybody I knew had told me it was a pyramid scheme. So that's funny that you say that. And the less you say, the more people are interested. Like, they just want to know almost how the story ends. And so that's something that I've done that's helped. Okay. I don't want to sign up for the 3 months. Ooh, good one. Okay. So when people say they don't like, okay, so it really depends on how the conversation is going. So if I've had like a really good conversation with somebody, I know what their health goals are, right? Like, I've talked to them about a couple of different products. They're super excited about it. One of the things that I'll do if they say like, oh, well, I don't really want to, you know, get stuck in this, or, you know, I don't, and I just say like, so I just have a quick question. Like, were you just planning on signing up and losing, you know, the 20 pounds in 1 month? Or if that sounds like too much, like you're being a smart aleck, like you could just say, you know, oh my gosh, well, you know, I want you to help you hit your health goal, and we can edit your order each month. But a lot of times I don't even use like, you're locked in for 3 months or you're doing this for 3 months. I always say like, it's a 90-day challenge. So you guys, so many of you are struggling with signing customers because you haven't done it yourself. You have not convinced yourself that this is a good deal. Okay, let me just repeat that. You have not convinced yourself this is a good deal because you haven't gotten the wording down. You haven't gotten like how to say it, what you're confident in, and you're copying somebody else's wording instead of figuring out why this is a good deal. And I'm telling you that because that was me for the first 2.5 weeks of my business. I did not sign a customer for 2.5 weeks of my business and I was doing everything that I said, but I just didn't sign a customer for the first 2.5 weeks of this business because I did not sell it. Like, I did not sell myself on it. I was nervous about what these products were. I was nervous about the commitment because I don't even know if I would have signed up with somebody had, you know, talked to me about it. Who wants to sign up for where they're locked into a 3-month committed auto shipment? If you use those words, everybody's going to run the other direction. Even if it's paper plates, you need paper plates every month. Like, you need that. Okay. Like, they're going to run. Because they are scary. So don't use those words. Figure out, like, you want to know the reason that I felt like what I did is I was just like, dude, if people are really trying to get healthier, if they're serious about their health goals, they're going to do 3 months. If they're serious about their health goals. And so one of the questions I ask is like, oh my gosh, are you like, in a great post you can put up is whenever you're posting about a product, put like, I'm only looking for people who are serious, and people who actually want to lose weight will come to you. Okay. And so I always just know now that I'm like, okay, I know this is a great deal. People are getting 40% off the product. Think about it this way, you guys. If somebody bought a bag of wraps, $100, that's what they would pay retail. Okay. If they get the loyal customer discount, they're saving $40 off the top because it goes from $99 to $49. They could get 2 bottles of Fat Fighters for essentially $10 if they went the retail route, because they would be paying, and that Fat Fighters are $25 a piece. So you're really not, because if they do the 3 months, they get it $59, $25, and $25. So really, they're paying $110 for 3 products. And they get to become a customer for life. So they will never have to pay retail pricing again, even if it's on 1 order. It doesn't make sense to do anything else. And so it's not that this is something, we are helping them be committed to their health goals. How many times do you wish you had somebody calling you up telling you get your butt to the gym? It's the same thing with the products. Like, hello, I'm here. I'm going to be shipped next month too. So you better take me, because if not, you're going to have a lot of extra stuff. Okay. And that's one thing when it comes to following up. You need to follow up with your customers that you have. How many times do we follow up with people in general about becoming a customer, but once we have our customers, we don't follow up with them? Let me read this to you real quick. I got this message from a customer today. I just want to read this to you real quick. She said, so my boyfriend has lost 21 pounds since we started, not even 2 months ago. He did the cleanse the first month and the coffee, and now he's strictly on the coffee. No added exercise as he doesn't have any time, and he's eating a little healthier, but not dieting. It's amazing. And I sent her this voice message. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you guys. Like, blah, blah, blah. How's everything going for you? And she said, I lost my 5 pounds in a week, because that's all she wanted to lose was 5 pounds. I lost my 5 pounds in a week and I haven't gained it back. I'm so happy. I just keep drinking it because I love the taste and it makes me feel less bloated and it gives me energy. So yay for keto coffee. Oh, and we went to New York and forgot our coffee. So we found some at GNC, ... Not the same. It was so gross. So we were so happy to come back to our routine. Thank you so much. I never believed and thought I'd be writing something like this, but it's like miracle coffee. LOL. You guys, this is like my actual text, okay? This is not a screenshot from somebody else. Like, this is an actual text from one of my customers. But I've taken good care of her. Like, I messaged her, asked her about all these different things. Like, our conversations have not just been like blah, blah, blah. And she's like, hey, can you she's actually in Canada, and she's like, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, and it's going to be this much. And then I'm like, oh crap, I'm so sorry. I gave you the wrong prices. I gave you US pricing. Forgot you were in Canada. I need to make sure I like put a Canadian flag next to each of my Canada customers. But it's so crazy, you guys, when you take care of your customers, when you use the products, when you know how amazing our products are, you're going to think everybody's freaking crazy that they doesn't sign up. And then you're going to start signing a lot more customers. I promise you. Okay. Next question. I get paid in a week and they never reply when you follow up with them. Okay. So number one, when they say they get paid in a week, I normally ask them for a specific date. So if I'll be like, okay, so you get paid next Friday. Or if they said that today, I'd be like, okay, so you get paid next Monday, would that be the 12th? And they're like, yeah. And I'll say, okay, great. I'm going to pencil you in and I'll check back with you a couple of days before to make sure you didn't have any questions. Or sometimes what I've done is this, if people have been like, if somebody's been flaky on me, I just collect all their information. I'm like, okay, no problem. I can start storing your information. And I just ask for everything but the credit card. Okay. And when I do that, then people are like, oh, I already gave that information. And it's such an easy thing for them to do, to just give me the credit card when they get paid. And they've already committed to giving me their information, so I know they're serious. So that's something that I do too. And also, like, if it is a week, like, I don't really let like 2 to 3 days go past without talking to my potential customers. So an example of that would be like, let's say I'm talking to somebody about defining gel, okay? And they're like, okay, well, I get paid on Friday. I'm not just going to follow up with them on Friday and be like, okay, you ready to get your order in, babe? They're going to be like, this chick's just trying to make money off me. Okay. Because I've had one conversation with them. What I do is I will follow up with them and send them like a defining gel result picture in the next couple of days and be like, oh my gosh, girl, have you seen this girl's results from the defining gel? I'm so excited for you to get yours and help solve your issues. Or a weight loss one. I'll be like, oh my gosh, this girl lost 20 pounds in 22 days. Like, I can't wait to see your results. And I get excited with them. Okay. Like, I'm excited for their results before they even get the product. And when they're like, oh my gosh, this girl is like so excited, I like almost can't not respond to her because like we've been talking. Will you still have people that don't respond? Absolutely. You still will. You can do everything right and just be talking to the wrong person. Okay. Sometimes it's not on you. Hey, Sherry, did you want to ask a question?
Hold on. I'm lost.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
Okay, so you said you talk to people in North Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
How do we expand our business? How do we go to North Dakota?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, do you ever get like those sponsored advertisements that pop up on your page? So like whether it's a boutique or like for me, I'm looking at all different furniture for our house. So it's like Wayfair or Pottery
Yes.
Barn or something like that, right?
Yes.
Those come from typically Google. And so they're seeing what you're looking for. But Wayfair or Pottery Barn, for instance, if we're using this furniture example, it is all nationwide. Okay. And so the people who are liking that sponsored advertisement aren't just in Kentucky or North Carolina or Indiana or whatever. Like they are in one specific, they're in the whole country. It's the same thing if you go to, like, let's say you go to Express because you shop at Express a lot, or you shop at your favorite clothing store. Charlotte Rouge was mine back in the day. Like, so, you could go to Charlotte Rouge and click on a picture that they posted on Instagram, or even go to their Facebook page and click on like, one of the most recent posts that they made and click on the people who liked that post. Because you know that they're active on Facebook because they just liked a post, okay? And click on those and add from right there. And you're going to be adding people from all over. Like I do have distributors in every state now, just from adding all over.
Okay.
And it's not like, because the cool thing is 90% of y'all, like I met through social media, like I didn't know you. And when people always say like, I don't know enough people, I'm like, girl, you don't have to. Instagram does. You just go through Instagram, go through Facebook. And it's so true, because then you're not like, well, what happens if I run out of the market that I have? Well, you're going to, the same 500 people are going to be seeing, your post, unless you keep growing your network and adding to the people, that are going to see your stuff. And so typically, I add there from things that like I have an interest in. So like the things that I can quickly connect. So it's not just like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to add anybody who I think will buy my product. Well, no, because they're buying me first. Okay. We all have to remember that they're buying me first. And so I'm not necessarily getting them to buy me, but I know if they're maybe going through the same stage of life that they're going to connect with me. And that's what this business is about. Straight up, who can you connect with? Okay. And so if I know I'm going to interracial couples, they're automatically going to connect. Like that happens innately. Like it's crazy. Like, I mean, you see it today. I was picking up some stuff from IKEA, and there was these other two little mixed kids, and my kids, like, they were just like, they known each other forever because they looked like him. They're like, the one girl was like, hey, he has curly hair like me, and he has curly hair like him. And that's just how it happens. And so it's not necessarily what you look like, but what you're interested in. Like, I'm not going to go to a hunting and fishing page because I don't know anything about that. But I might go to a page about, new to Indianapolis, or I might go to a page from, like babies. So 2 under 2. So like, cause I have my babies super close together. So I'm going to connect with people based on like motherhood and having kids who are young, people. Then I'll have to do it for, at every different stage, you just have different people you can connect with because you're going through that same stage of life. I always use the example of like when I had kids, my friend group changed. And it's not because I disliked my friends that I had before I had kids, but they were maybe going out more. I had a kid. I can't go out. I'm trying to be hungover and get knocked on the head. Mom, wake up, right? That's not fun. So the thing is, it's just like that, right? What stage of life are you in? Who can you connect with? And you'll find that like those people you're going to get value from too. Like, I've met a lot of cool people in and out of the business just from connecting with them on social media.
Okay.
So hopefully that helps. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let me go back through these. Ooh. I'm not a salesperson. Great. I'm not looking for salespeople. I'm not either. That's always what I say. I'm not either. Who wants to be a salesperson? Because people have the stigma of being a salesperson. That's really bad. And so if you can kind of just be like, you don't have to be a salesperson to be successful at this business. You just have to fall in love with the products and want to share them with people in the business, because that's really what we do, you know? And so get it out of your head, because I bet you guys, this is so true. I know it sounds really crazy, I promise. But the problem or the excuse that you are getting the most right now, it's because you have not answered it in your own head. When you answer it in your own head, it's just going to be nothing. Like, you're not even going to deal with it. Like, it's not going to come up that much anymore. So when if you feel like I'm not a salesperson is like a valid excuse, you're going to give it more time. And some of it is just coming up with wording. I always just say, like, girl, I'm not a salesperson. I don't have a degree in sales. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be like a used car salesperson where I'm pushy. But I do know when I became a mom, I had to become a salesperson because I was selling ideas to my kids all the time. Okay. Like, no, don't cry right now. We're going to go get this icy. It's going to make you feel better. Like, all of the time, like, you are selling ideas to them. You're selling, and I always talk about, if you're not a mom, like, always talk about when the last time you posted a picture of sushi or Starbucks. Okay. Because you're selling Starbucks or that sushi spot to everybody else on Instagram, and you just don't know it, and you're not getting paid for it. And so it doesn't have to be pushy, because most of the time that is the reason why people don't want to be salespeople, is because they don't want to be pushy. Okay. And you don't have to be pushy in this business. You just have to let them know that. Okay. Any advice on messaging people who watch my stories? I message people who commented on my hosted post. So I'm taking that as you have I've messaged people who commented on my hosted post, but not message people who watched your stories. So, yeah, I always go to their profile. Like, if I'm about to message them, and I will go and I'll like the most recent, 3 or 4 pictures, and maybe comment on one. And then I will go to message them and be like, oh my gosh, girl, I just creeped your profile, if you can't tell. But I loved it. And I didn't know, I don't even say that I saw you watch my story, because then they're like, crap, I can't watch your story next time. Legit. If somebody messaged me and was like, I saw you watch my story, I'm like, nah, I don't want to watch your story anymore. So I don't never really say that. I just talk to them about the business and be like, I just saw that you watched my story. I didn't know if you were open to getting more information. That's my go-to line. I didn't know if you were open to getting more information. I saw your profile, and and you don't, some people get weird about messaging a little bit, but really, if you go into it with a genuine heart, and you're not trying to sell somebody, you're just like, hey, I would be friends with that person. You just say I think your profile is so cool. I'd love to connect with you. Would you be open to hearing more information about what I do? Obviously, especially if you have a 4 or 5 story thing. I know when I post stories, a lot of times they're 20 things. If somebody's watched all 20 of them without swiping, they're getting a message. Okay. Because that's a lot of time that they spent just liking my stuff. So I typically will go to the last slide. So let me just show you an example real quick. Okay. So if I go here, so this is my story. So I'm just going to tap and click all the way through, and you can see this is, oopsies. This is, oh my gosh, I just did it again. Hold on. I need to go to my archive because I hate doing that. So 203 people saw this last one. So when I started, let's see my first one. 285 had seen the first one. And so 203. So 82 people didn't watch the whole thing. So I would just message all of those people, and you guys are like, well, I only have 4 people see my stuff. then you just need to add more people. You just need to grow your network and get more people to see their stuff. One tip that has helped is on Instagram. It's kind of a similar algorithm. And so what you can do, like similar to Facebook, is what you can do is you can watch more people's stories. And if you're on like Facebook, you know how like they can just play through. You can just click like one and just put your phone down before you go to bed and just let them all play through. And then you can just watch everybody's, because the more stories you watch, the more they're going to watch your stories. That makes sense. So that's definitely been beneficial. Buying product through It Works, does that count towards getting commission qualified? Yep. So if you you can get commission qualified in two ways. Yes. So if you set up your 80 BV auto shipment, or you can get 150 in personal volume. Okay, so that's just the sales from the customers right under you. Or you can purchase $80 worth of product. Now let's say you have $130 worth of customers or worth of orders right under you. That's called your PBV, so your personal business volume. If you have like if you order like 20, then that's going to make it equal your 150, if that makes sense. So it's either 150 of customers under you or 80 of an auto shipment that you set up. Okay, what's a good response to say, I don't have the $20 to join right now? Girl, go sell some clothes in your closet and go to Plato's Closet. No joke. Go tell them that. Go say, like, I've had people get plasma. I've had people like do crazy, like not crazy, but like $20 is not that much. Like, dang, I pay somebody, $70 to set up my IKEA bed I just bought. Anybody want that? You can come set up my bed. You can pay for 3 people's kits. So just making sure that you are asking them to get creative or asking them to borrow the money from somebody. Okay. I also want to remind you guys, we cannot purchase other people's starter kits. Okay. Let me just repeat that. We cannot purchase other people's starter kits. Like, if people are not supposed to buy starter kits for you. And here's why, is because that's giving people an unfair advantage. So if I could buy people's starter kits, that's considered like bribing or whatever. And not everybody has the same resources that I do. So I could buy a lot more starter kits than you guys could. Okay. Or if somebody making, if I made $500 and somebody else made $50,000 a month, it's not fair to be like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to buy, a lot of people don't have the resources. And so just to make it an even playing field, you don't want to buy other people's starter kits. Plus, you want people to have their own skin in the game. People who can join and don't have anything they put in, they don't have anything to lose when they quit. It's not worth it. Okay. Just don't do it. It's like when we came out with the $10 kits, you'd be amazed at how many people just didn't care. It's like, have you ever bought something at the dollar section in Target? Well, it's probably not in your house now because you don't use it. Like, straight up, like when you're buying things that are cheap, like you just like don't take care of it. But I swear the things like are expensive, you do. Okay. What comes in the starter box? So right now it comes with 4 wraps, 2 samples of Keto Energy, 2 samples of Keto Coffee, and 2 samples of Berry Greens on the go. When you get an LC after the 25th of the month, it counts for the current month. So the way it works is if somebody purchases on the 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, or the 31st, anytime after the 25th, the next month, their next order will run on the 25th. So normally, let's say I bought on the 5th, my auto shipment next month would run on the 5th. If I bought on the 10th, it would run on the 10th. If I bought on the 11th, it would run on the 11th. But because of the way It Works does, the 25th is when all of those auto shipments from the 25th through the end of the month will run. Does that make sense? Just nod if everybody gets that, just to make sure I didn't sound crazy when I explained that. Okay. Yes. So you're going to get commission on everything. So you're going to get commission when you get your first for customers. You're going to get commission, before that, the first customer you get, you'll get commission on. So just have to make sure you're commission qualified for that month. My best.
That's not me, is it?
Okay. I'm just reading this real quick to make sure I understand. So you just want to make sure that you just you cannot, just don't get kits. You can get in trouble for it, not by me, but by compliance, and it works. And so you want to make sure that you're not doing that, because it's not necessarily it's not legal for compliance, obviously. It's something that's why you get on these Zooms, so you can find out that information if you did not know it. But just make sure that you don't do it, because it's like if you open a boutique and you buy all the inventory, you ain't just giving it away, because you value it, you paid for it, you bought it. They have to value it just as much. Okay. How I first started your business and made money. Okay. So for me, I just started being excited, straight up. I was just excited. I'll tell you that my posts were not copied and pasted, because back in the day, we didn't have the option to hold down the copy button and press copy. Okay. I could highlight manually, on a computer. And if I did that, I would be at work, and then I would save it and send it to myself in an email. You guys, that's what I used to have to do. But I will tell you, one of the things that it forced me to do, because I didn't have the luxury to copy and paste, is to make my own post. And I think that that's really one of the reasons why, I don't have really an issue writing a lot of posts now, is because I just had to. There wasn't another way. But I was super authentic in mine. So I made it mine. I made it something that was personal to me. So it didn't sound like, oh, she joined at work. So I can tell just by one of the posts that she made, because it was copied and pasted. Now, is it okay to copy and paste a post every once in a while? Absolutely. You're not going to come up with all these great creative posts every single day, all the time. But I would say that you want to, and they don't have to be long. I think that a lot of times people get this thing in their mind where they go read all these awesome freaking posts that people come up with, and they're like, wow, that was so good. I need to come up with something just like that. And it's no, you don't. You need to just put it in your own words and make it sound like it's coming from you, because that authenticity is what's going to get you to diamond and above. Okay? Just being authentic and being you. So it's very, very important that you do that. And you just want to make sure that it's not so scripted that people know you didn't write it. Okay. So that's a big thing. So I just started posting about my life. The best advice Erin ever gave me, was, I said, why do you think you're more successful than anybody else? And that I know who has ever done this business or a business, period. And she was like, just because I incorporate it into my life. I don't make my business and my personal separate. It's all together, because the business is part of my life. Just what I'm eating for dinner is part of my life, and what I'm, doing that day is part of my life. All of that stuff is part of your life, and people want to know what you're doing. So that's definitely something that I did when I first got started. So even if it was a Starbucks drink, I talked about it, you guys. I talked about It Works paid for my Starbucks drink. Dude, it's $5, $3, depending on what you get. But guess what? Before It Works, I was not driving through Starbucks as much as I was after I got started with It Works. Because that stuff's if you get a venti iced chai tea latte, which is what I was getting at the time, that stuff's $6-7. I had to drive past Starbucks and say no every single day. And it felt like annoying because now I can say no because I choose to say no, not because I have to say no. And there's a very big difference. And so I would just talk about the Starbucks. I would talk about the groceries. I would talk about how, you know, I don't have to worry about getting Heinz ketchup, even though it's $1 more than the generic brand. Like those are the things that people care about. And we underestimate that. We overestimate that, like we have to buy a new house before people will think that this business works. Because there's still people who think this business works, and about a house, and about a car, and another car, and another house. Since we joined It Works, we bought 2 different houses and 2 different cars, and there's still people who don't think this works. You guys, so don't talk about the big things. Talk about the little things. People can imagine being able to put gas in their car with a full tank instead of having to fill up $20 at a time. People can imagine that. They can't imagine buying a big house. So I think that is that we kind of just overestimate how important those big dream board knockoff things are, and we underestimate the daily things that people are experiencing every single day that this business can help us with. And so that's why I got started. And I just shared it with other people. I actually signed my first distributor. Like she was a blitz. Like I just randomly went up, like she walked into my work and I was talking to her and she was just like, we were just connecting. And she said that she didn't have like enough money. And I was like, oh my gosh, girl, I totally feel you. Like I just joined this business. And I got her number and I talked to her on the phone. I'd never met her before that day. And she signed up. And I was literally like, oh my gosh, if I can do this one time, then I can do this another time, right. And then another time, and then another time. And so you guys just do it. Just do, if you get one person, you can go all the way to ambassador, because the same thing that I was doing when I started this business is the same thing that I'm doing now. It sounds so simple, but it's so true. Okay, so how do I get my commissions to qualify? So you basically just have either 80 BV auto shipment or 150 in personal business volume, which is just the orders under you. You can go on the team page and just search CQ, which is abbreviation for commission qualified, or search the whole phrase commission qualified. And you'll find that in the Lion Chasers. Do you have to have a distributor in your 400 BV box on your chart? Yes. So each box on the chart is a distributor, and the 400 is the amount of volume that they have in sales. So how much sales they have. Where can I go to eSuite to make sure all my taxes are done? Like if you mean filling out your tax form, you just are going to go to your settings on there. No, do not wait for your starter kit. I would definitely suggest not waiting for your starter kit, because there's nothing in the starter kit that you need right now to get started, and just kind of making a post and letting people know that you just started this business and you're so excited. If I could give you one tip as a newbie, it would be to just be excited. Like, know that this business has the power to change your life, and don't let anybody else's opinion tell you differently. I was just listening to self-development, and it said, so many times we base our self-esteem on what other people think, but that's not self-esteem. There's no self in that, right? We need to base our opinion of what we think of ourselves. And the only thing you should be feeling about yourself right now is how proud you are that you've made this freaking leap of faith, because it's scary. And fear is what holds most people back. And just be like, I'm just so excited to start this new chapter of my life, and I'm going to give it my all. And people are going to be excited if you're excited. So that's the biggest advice I would give you as a newbie. I got an LC and received private product reward. So learning lingo. What does that mean? So product rewards just means you get the products at an extra discounted rate. So as a distributor, we already get 40% off the products. And when you get product rewards, you get those. You probably got 5 from purchasing your conference ticket, which is what you do. If you purchase your conference ticket, you get 5. It actually gets you a whole bag of keto coffee for $20. It's $19 plus $1 worth of tax, and it's free shipping. So it's literally the best. And so you get like a bag of keto coffee for $20. You can get a bag of wraps, which is 4 wraps or 4 facials for $25, and it's free shipping. let's see. One tip or advice that you would give to somebody come back in who's done this business prior. I think people forget that like they're so much wiser when they come back. Like they've experienced like quitting, and they realize like the grass wasn't greener quitting. And so when they come back, they know that like, like I came back to this company because I knew this company was the best option. And I know what it's like to quit, but now I want to see what it's like to not quit. And so she has to like be open about it. If like she had like quit one time or stopped working for an extended period of time, even if her account wasn't canceled, just kind of like address like, hey, I'd stopped doing this because I was focusing on things that maybe it was things that didn't matter. Maybe it was things that did, but on focusing on other things. And now I'm turning my focus back to this because I love it. And I've had time to think about it. And it is something that I want to pursue because it's an opportunity. Like this business, we forget so many times because we're like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to add people and I have to message people and I have to do this. Like, guys, this is an opportunity. Like you have the opportunity on your hands to make over $100,000 a month. That is an opportunity. You can't walk into a job and get that same opportunity. Okay. But in this business, you can. So we have to view it as one of like, as an opportunity instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, well, I have to do this. I have to do this. And most of the time when people like stop working the business and they come back, they realize, dang, this is an opportunity. And so use that excitement and have her just talk about how much more she was excited, how much more she is excited now than she was last time. So that's probably the biggest advice. My friend or somebody sent her the weight loss survey. I saw she wanted to lose weight, but all I got thumbs up emoji. Asked her what her goal was and she didn't answer back. How else do I engage her? I would honestly just go to her page and blow it up. Like legit go to her page, like couple things, send her, like try commenting with a question on one of her posts. Maybe like 3 things. And then on one of her previous posts, like comment, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then maybe if she has like a picture up or something, you can simply just be like, oh my gosh, I love that shirt. Where'd you get it? Or I love that lip color or whatever. And normally when people love talking about themselves, I mean, I love talking about myself. I'm sure all y'all love talking about yourselves and where you got your shirt or where you get your lashes done or where you get your hair done or, you know, where whatever you have came from. So people love to share that stuff. So engage her about something that she wants to engage in because maybe she just wants to get to know you and who you are to make sure you're real. So just engage her that way. Is there a guarantee on all items and is there a chargeback period on commission? I'm not sure what that means, a guarantee on all items, but we get, once we get the 8th of every month, we get our preliminary commissions, which means you'll see what you make on your commissions on the 8th. And then it actually gets paid out on the 15th. And you can see your preliminary commission, people call them prelims, on the 8th. You can see that under the commissions tab in your eSuite. Yep, and Michelle, you just pick one. You just essentially just pick which one you want. You can choose whatever one. Or they expire after 60 days, I want to say. I think it's 60 days. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But those product rewards expire after 60 days. You can also earn product rewards. For every 2 customers, you get 1 product reward. Okay. Okay. So per Sherry's request, I'm going to leave you with just not quitting and not giving up because it's so important to just realize what you do have your hands on, you know? I think I heard this from Denzel Washington, but he just said like everything that you desire and that you want in your life that's good, that's from God. And he wants you to have that. Okay. So if you have dreams right now, let's say you view your life as like just a windy road. Okay. Like Candyland, right? Cause that's what I'm playing with my kids right now. So like if you're on Candyland and each little time you're making a turn, like there's another thing. So like, right. Like you graduate, you grow up, you graduate high school, you graduate, college, you get your job, like you want to accomplish this, you want to buy your first home, you want to buy your first car, you want to, set up retirement, you want to have your babies, like all this stuff. So all these accomplishments, if you want to have that, you have to have a vehicle to get there. Okay. People traditionally have thought about that vehicle as a job. Well, now we know that our normal job 9-to-5s, those are okay for some people. But I know that when I was working my 9-to-5, I worked at a bank. I was a mortgage broker, and that wasn't cutting it. That if something, God forbid, whatever happened to my husband, I wouldn't be able to financially support my kids. And that wasn't okay for me. I also knew that emotionally I wanted more. I wanted more than just, I call it like the 40-40-40 pyramid scheme. Because when I'm ever having a discussion with people about pyramid schemes, I'm like, okay, so is what I'm doing a pyramid scheme, or is what you're doing the 40-40-40? And they're like, what's the 40? I'm like, you work 40 hours a week for 40 years and retire, supposing to live off of 40% of what you couldn't afford in the first place. Okay. Like that doesn't make any sense either. But the reality of it is that is something that it's a mindset. Like knowing and believing in this business is a mindset. And I just know that when I was working, like there had to be something different. There had to be something that changed. And so this is a vehicle that can get me to different parts of my life. It doesn't mean that it takes up every single aspect of my life. It works as a part of who I am, but I'm Kelsey. I'm a child of God. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I happen to be an It Works distributor, but like, that doesn't mean my page is It Works everywhere. So don't feel like that has to be your page. Your page has to first and foremost be you. And then you decide who you are. And then you decide what you want. Okay. And for me, like I knew what I wanted and I knew that I wasn't going to get it. And so I just worked hard. And how many professions can you say your work ethic writes your paycheck? Not many, but in this one you can. And the more consistent you do. And I love this quote. I read it to my leaders tonight. And I want you guys all to realize how blessed we are. We literally have such an amazing team of leaders. Like, y'all, I'm not even the best person on our team. Okay. Like straight up, I'm not. There's so many more amazing girls on here than me. And I just want you guys to know, like, we use the resources that we have. But I told him this quote. I said, success doesn't come from what you do occasionally or when you feel like it. It comes from what you do consistently. People who are in really good shape, they don't like occasionally go to the gym. Like, oh yeah, when I feel like it, like maybe the first month of the year. And then like, whenever I feel like I'm getting really fat, like I'll go for a little bit, but like, they're not successful, like with their diets and from doing that occasionally. They do it consistently. The same thing. You're successful at whatever you do because you do it consistently, not because you do it occasionally. And so that's what I want to leave you with. And I want to just tell you, this business will change your life if you let it. But do not go on the first date and call it quits with this business. Because I'm telling you, there is so much more beauty inside the business than just what's on the surface. Like, you have to continue to grow your business. And it's on you, and that can be scary. Like, I understand that part of it, of like, oh my gosh, well, if I'm not successful, then maybe it's something that I'm doing, but there is so much growth in the uncomfort. Okay. So this is not a get rich quick scheme. Your first paycheck will not be $10,000. I hate to break it to you, but let me go ahead and burst your bubble. It will not be $10,000. My first paycheck was $34, but y'all know I hit Starbucks up 6 times because it paid for 6 Starbucks drinks and I was hyped. But that's the thing, you guys, is that focus on what your wins are. And so each day you're feeling discouraged, I want you to focus on, in or out of the business, what were your wins today? Your win. I'm going to tell you all. You got one. You were on this Zoom. That's a win. You showed commitment to this business, and that is a win. I don't care if, you're had to turn your camera off because you're nursing your baby. I don't care if you had to turn your camera off because you were screaming at your kids. I've done that plenty of times, but you made the effort to get on this Zoom. And so that is a win. And I'm so glad that you're part of this team. I'm so glad that like I can be here to help you. But I just want to let you know that I'm grateful for all of you guys, and you guys have all been prayed for, and you are prayed for every single day. And I hope you guys know that. So anybody doesn't have anything else, I love you guys. Hope you have a good night. Bye.